Hello, in this video I'll share with you 3 different recipes for very delicious, healthy, diet-friendly breads. You could dip them, you could make wrap of them, you could roll them. They taste good. If you are into healthy breads and count your calories, let's do this. Hello foodies, welcome back to HoobieTastes. Let's start with the ingredients. You will need 1 cup of rolled oats. We will need baking powder for this recipe and we will use half a teaspoon of baking powder. Add a little bit of salt up to taste. And now we will mix everything together before we go to the blender. If you like these kind of videos, please guys subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. We will need about 1 cup and a quarter of a cup of water. We will now add all of our ingredients to the food processor. The more you process it, the finer and smoother it becomes, but you will use some of the fiber value in these beautiful oats. Once it's all blended, we leave it to rest for about 20 minutes. We will start this on a cold pan, and every time we add a batter to make a bread, we start from cold so we get a nice texture into the bread. We are working with a medium heat and you could see it's already bubbling up, these beautiful pockets of air. You know, it's coming together. It's very easy to make and it's packed with goodness, packed with the nutrition. You know, we gotta balance it out. Sometimes we do these healthy recipes to balance the other good stuff that we do. So for the first side, we leave it on heat for about 3 minutes and then we flip it and we leave it for further 2 minutes. And we start flipping it around every little bit, and the process would take you for about roughly 8 to 10 minutes, depends on how much batter you added to the pan. There you go, as you can see we have our breads, lovely, fluffy, and you could make wraps out of them. As you can see, they are very flexible, they don't break, they're not crackers, they are actually beautiful, healthy breads. And now let's move into bread number 2. In bread number 2, we will be using lentils, red beautiful lentils packed with the nutrients. We will need about 1.5 cups of soaked lentils. Please leave it in water, wash it and leave it to soak for at least 6 hours, and if you leave it overnight, that will be fantastic. We will add about a tablespoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin, and we will also add beautiful fragrant ground coriander, 1 teaspoon, and also add salt to taste. And now we mix everything together. Then we move into the blender. Make sure everything is blended properly and leave it to rest before we are moving into the pan. This time preheat the pan into medium heat. Once it's nice and hot, make sure you add a little bit of olive oil, give it a nice sear around the pan, and then add the batter and make it nice and round to look like a bread. The mistake I made with this one, I made it too thick and it ended up being pancakey rather than bread. In the next one, I made it thinner, more rounder, and it was more a bread texture experience. Once you can move the bread around and put your spatula between the pan and the bread, we are ready to flip it. For you to flip it safely, I would take it into a plate and then flip it around and put it back into the pan. Here we are, we have our bread, very smooth, very fluffy, and a beautiful bread texture. And now we put in the breads against each other. I got myself a little bit of coconut yogurt, it's so tasty actually, and I tried dipping the breads into the yogurt and the taste is absolutely fantastic. I prefer the oat one because I'm used to eating oats more. Let's move now into the third healthy bread. Now we move into the ingredients. We will have 2 teaspoons of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, or it's up to taste, and this will make the hummus fans happy. We are using 1 cup of ground chickpea flour. We are using 1.25 cups of water, and also we are using extra virgin olive oil, 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. Now we take all of our ingredients and add it into the food processor. Make sure it's mixed and processed well, and leave it to rest for about half an hour before taking it into the pan. We are using medium heat with a little bit of olive oil. We add our golden bready liquid into the pan. As you can see, once it allows us to move it, and you see the bread is dancing around the pan and is ready to be flipped, we don't disappoint it. We flip it. We have our bread ready. It's got the texture, it's got the flavor, and you can make a wrap out of it. You could use it as a dip. And for this bread, I'm making a wrap sandwich. I'm using a little bit of mustard, burger sauce, some tomatoes, and I also have some vegetarian homemade kebabs. If you like the recipe, let me know and I'll make a video of that to you, and added a little bit of rocket leaves. And of course, because everything is better with cheese, I'm using a little bit of Parmesan cheese with the sandwich. I'm making the wrap very easily. It's folded, and here we go. I'm getting my bite, and yes, it's fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you actually try the recipes and let me know what you think of them. If you post them into Instagram, make sure that you tag me at HoobieTastes, and I'm excited to see you for the next video. Check it out.